This episode of The Guilty Feminist is brought to you by the movie Shirley, the unconventional story of one of the greatest horror writers of the 20th century. In cinemas or online from Curzon Home Cinema from the 30th of October.
I'm a feminist, but when I arrived in America 2 days ago, the man at customs was looking at my visa, and this was an O1 visa, which means I can tour here and work here, which I've never had for America before. And he said, "So what job are you doing?" And I said, "I'm a comedian." And he went, And he looked at me so suspiciously, and he was like, "What kind of comedy do you do?"
Oh, I hate that. The funny kind, bitch.
I did not say, because I didn't want to be deported.
Right.
They have a lot of authority at the border. Whimsically, individuals can send you back. It's so whimsical what happens at borders. And it can just be down to one guy not liking your face. So that's what I thought in my head. But I was like, I don't know. So what I wanted to say so badly was feminist comedy. And I was like getting those words ready up in my mouth. And then I was like, what if he does not like feminists? What if he says, let me take you into a small room and ask you more questions and grill you and say, no, you've got this visa under false pretenses because no alien of extraordinary ability would be a feminist. You know, this is what I'm thinking in my head because I've watched a lot of The Handmaid's Tale. And it's all set here. It's all set in Gilead, which America does seem to be teetering on a little bit. So I was there going, just say feminist comedy, just stand your ground, just say feminist comedy, just say feminist comedy, just say feminist comedy. And then I just went, funny comedy. And he went, And then he just went, you're free to go. And sort of, slid the passport across. And I was like, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for allowing me into your country. God save America. And then just ran very fast away, ran towards the baggage. And then stood at the Antigua baggage carousel for a full 20 minutes before I realized it wasn't London. It's genuinely what happened.
I was born in America, and I feel that way when I come back to America.
Do you?
Yes. You talk about not liking your face. If I don't if I do not wear makeup to the airport, I am not treated like a person.
What?
Yes. I'm always the fifth person in line. They pull me over. They want to check my hair. They want to check my bag.
Check your hair?
Check my hair.
To see if there's anything in it? Like
yes,
drugs or anything?
I mean, there has been a couple of stories of women with dreadlocks leaving, Thailand with drugs in their hair. And
you don't have dreadlocks.
I don't, but look, I definitely like drugs. I don't carry them, that's crazy.
But you don't wear a t-shirt that says, I love drugs.
Anymore.
No. Not after what happened last time. Your husband is Dutch.
Yes.
And people do associate Amsterdam with a certain amount of jazz cigarettery.
They do. Yes, I feel like I'm in Chicago now and all that jazz. But yes, I mean, they do. It's almost as like if somebody came to America and they were like, everything is McDonald's in Times Square, and it's just a teeny tiny...
It's kind of it, though. Yeah. I'm kidding!
Tiny part of it, yeah. I'm a feminist, but I need a man to handle the insects and rodents in the house. I live in New York. Look, I went to college. I'm Jamaican and Haitian. I know who my dad is. Come on! I can't kill a rat. That's insane. I need a man to do it. A man in Carhartt that's too tight with his butt hanging out. That dude named Joe or Paul or whatever. I need him. I'm good. I'll buy the house. I'll put 40% down so I have very low monthly payments. But I need you, sir, to kill that thing for me, please. Thank you so much.
I'm a feminist, but last night Gloria Steinem came to this show here at Gramercy Theatre in New York City. Just rocked up to the show. I didn't know she was in the audience. In fact, somebody texted me when I was backstage going, do you want to know which fancy people are in the audience tonight? And I texted back, no, definitely not. Tell me after the show. I'm only going to get in my head if you start telling me fancy people. She came to go backstage, and she didn't have a backstage pass. So one of my friends gave her his backstage pass because he recognized her and obviously knew I would want to meet her. What a legend. And so she came down and she met me and she was so nice about the show and she had a photo with me and it was like obviously the greatest moment of my or anyone's life. And what I really wanted to ask her about was her experiences fighting the patriarchy as a second wave feminist at the vanguard of sexism with so many amazing women of colour and queer women at a time when they redefined what it meant to be a woman. And that is not as true as I wanted to ask her about her skincare regime because Wikipedia says she's 85. She looks no more than 42. Seriously, is that just genes? Or is there something that she is doing? Is it olive oil? Can I ask her that? When I see her again, which I'm going to, I'm so excited.
I'm a feminist, but look, I can't do any more marches, all right? I can't. I will PayPal, I will Venmo, I will clickety-clack on whatever. So I can't. With making a sign and shit, I cannot do that. We need to, look, white women, I love you. You got good feet. You go do it, okay? As a black woman, I am climbing a mountain every day emotionally, and I can't walk any more march. Plus, this body, my tits are so big, my whole body is like the middle seat of an airplane, just touching people by accident. I cannot! What am I gonna wear? Oh my God, the chafing between my thighs, walking up and down your fucking street. Can't do it. I stay having a wedgie. I cannot. I'm not doing the porta pot. Look. I'm gonna resist from my fucking couch braless with my dog and my babies getting mildly high. I will do other things. My ancestors did that shit. Thank you so much, white women, for doing what you do. And tell your aunties and your moms to vote the right way. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like when I get tired, I turn into like Bernie Mac, like a tired women. Not okay. I just heard myself for a second. I'm just like, how Jersey can one bitch be?
I'm a feminist, but if I had to choose between doing this gig here tonight with the Guilty Feminist in New York City at Gramercy Theatre, a dream of mine that has come true, I've had to choose between that and going to the Golden Globes with John Hamm tonight. You know what? I would actually do this first and meet him for the after parties. Because he has never once asked me out after all my hinting. And I know people have told him, oh, the Guilty Feminist podcast, they joke about you, Deborah, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, that's really funny. I've heard that back. He still hasn't asked me out. So at this point, fuck him, he can wait.
You can wait. Well, congratulations on your journey. I really hope it works out and that you go ham. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
I don't think I understood that. Go ham.
Yeah. Oh, that's a saying we have here. Go ham means you go nuts.
Really?
Yes. And his last name is
Ham.
Yes.
Okay, that needed some translation for the British person.
Yes.
Go ham means go nuts?
Yes.
Wow.
Go crazy.
So you could say, what was that? Do someone just say fucking? Hard-ass motherfucker. Who said that? What?
I don't know. The dude in the front that looks quiet said it. So now I'm all types of surprised.
I know. He does look quiet.
Look, you gotta read the whole book, honey.
Sorry, why did you say hard-ass motherfucker? What's that got to do with going ham?
That's what it means.
Oh, it means go hard, ass.
Yeah. It's an acronym.
Go hard.
Thank you.
Oh! Ham
This is amazing.
stands for hard ass.
Truly one of my best moments of 2020.
Okay. So go ham means go. Okay, so it's acrostic. Go hard, assed, motherfucker. Okay. So go hard assed. What does it really mean though to go hard assed motherfucker?
Look, you can go ham.
Go hard assed.
Hard as.
Oh, hard as, not ass. Hard as a motherfucker.
This is amazing.
And how hard does a motherfucker go?
As hard as you want to go, bitch.
I am so confused by this.
Look.
Go ham, go hard as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Live from Gramercy Theatre in New York City. Guilty Feminist, the podcast in which we explore our noble goals as 21st century feminists and the hypocrisies and insecurities which undermine them. I'm Deborah Frances-White, with me is Michelle Buteau, and we're talking about intention! It's a delight to have you here. Have you had a guilty week or a feminist week?
Oh, God, I can't really remember. I mean, what's the difference at this point? I want to say a dollop of guilt. You know why? I cannot stop saying the word bitch. I call my friends a bitch. I call my mom a bitch.
What?
Yes!
Your mother a bitch? You can't call your mom a bitch.
Yes, I can. Not like,
Friends a bitch.
but I'm not like, you bitch. I'm like, hey, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm happy.
I can't imagine calling my mother up and saying, hello, bitch. It doesn't work with a British accent, does it?
No, I can't.
Biatch.
I'm just hearing Mary Berry say bitch on like British Bake Off. Well, bitch is quite soggy. You know what I mean? Like,
well, this bitch has a soggy bottom.
yes. What I would give for Paul Hollywood to finger my croissant, you know?
The Hollywood handshake,
I know.
right?
Oh
It
yes.
puts a whole new spin on that.
He means it.
I'm sure he does. I have no doubt that he means it. He means it. The thing is, I do enjoy sometimes being like, what up, bitches? Like, it's gotta be like jocular.
Oh, we're in. And but that's the thing, oh, we're in. And I feel like we cannot be so PC that we're gonna be, hello, Terry Lynn Martin. No! I've known you for 18 years. You held my hair back. You seen my winter feet. You seen all the things. You saw the dude I dated that didn't know how to read that I wanted to fix like a Coldplay song. You saw all the things. You my bitch. I'm very passionate about it. My right nipple is so hard. She's the only one that works.
No, indeed. Indeed. But I don't think that's PC. I've retired to the term and phrase political correct, and I've replaced it with compassionate or inclusive.
Ooh.
Because it's very, when people go, I don't want to be PC, I'm like, do you want to be compassionate? And then I find literally nobody, even Trump supporters, say, I don't want to be compassionate. Because they can't get that out of their mouths.
Yeah.
But so I feel like, I'm sure there are Trump supporters that would say, I have no interest in compassion, to be fair.
I can't talk about Trump. It makes me so sad.
Okay, that's the last you'll hear.
Okay.
And if there are any Trump supporters in the room, you are welcome.
Are you lost?
You're
lost.
You are welcome to change.
You're found. You're found.
I'm sure there are not any Trump supporters in the room, but oh, you are?
All right. This
just
just took a turn.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, Anyway, okay. So we're talking about intention.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of what stops us being great feminists and even human beings and good to ourselves is that we're doing things on autopilot. We're in a capitalist society, so stuff's being shoved at us all the time, and we sort of think, oh, I've got to go here, or I've got to do this, or I've got to work these crazy hours, or I've got to self-care, or I've got to, I'm drinking that and I'm not even thinking about it, We just get swept along in all of these unconscious behaviors, and it's very difficult to fight the fight and resist injustice if most of what we're doing is just sort of putting our hand out and
It's trust.
eating crisps or chips.
Yes,
keep on
chips,
them,
biscuits.
just because they're there. Do you know what I mean? Biscuits.
That was always confusing on British Bake Off for me, because I was like, where's the biscuit and the gravy? But it's cookies.
Yes, biscuits are cookies. Absolutely.
Okay.
Your biscuits are like.
However you end the sentence, I'm so happy.
Okay. They're like aged scones.
I thought you meant my personal biscuits, and I thought you were going to be like, bring the boys to the bar.
No. I meant when American biscuits.
Yes.
American biscuits are like elderly scones.
They're the Benjamin Button of cookies.
That's right. And nothing to do with a cookie. They're nothing. They're so far away from a cookie. Anyway, and I would say the same with, we go into a meeting at work, if we're working in a place where there's meetings, and we go, oh, sorry, before we've even begun to say anything. There's all these unintentional words that we use, unintentional ways that we sit and stand, and things that we don't ask for or do ask for, things that we do and we don't do. So we're talking about intention because I think if we lived more intentionally, we would ask for a lot more, we would accept a lot less, and we would somehow carve out more time for ourselves to breathe and to challenge ourselves to get more involved in social justice and create more space and time around ourselves. Most of, I think, what eats our time and our energy is unintentional.
I 100% agree. My husband is from Holland. I am from Jersey. What's up, Jersey? The Netherlands is the size of Jersey. So when he talks about, we should buy what we need in terms of food, this, that, and the other, I'm Caribbean, I'm from Jersey. I have gotten into this American habit where I'm like, we need the 6-foot hoagie. We need the extra of the extra. We just need more food in case people get hungry, and I just love to see people full and just like busting out their pants. I want my guests to like feel like they're gonna pick a diet by the end of dinner. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't even realize I was sort of living that American dream, so to speak, where like more is more and more is great. And being with somebody from a place like the Netherlands, where it's like you take what you need, is mind-blowing, because in turn I'm happier, I'm healthier, I have more money in my account. It's so crazy. And I think when you're from a country that's so big, the government's constantly giving you like, these are your choices, this is what we got, this is our coupon, this is the 99 cents. And so, it's trust. You just trust doctors know what they're talking about. You trust that your president knows what it's talking about. If he could read. And you just think you just trust people. And I, now that
I think that trust is being eroded now, that like massively.
It's been.
So
I don't
eroded.
I don't even know if it was like good
Apparently
to begin with.
It was Nixon that eroded. No, truly.
Oh, I think it was George Washington, but that's a whole other show.
Your man who never told a lie. But in terms of the public, the Second World War, people said, oh, we'll go and fight for our country. And if you said something that was subversive, you may be seen in a room as being unpatriotic. Mm-hmm. And Nixon completely upended that. Now with news, people just don't know what to believe anymore. They're like, well, you can't trust any of it. People tending to just go, it's all bullshit. And we do need to examine what is real.
We have to think for ourselves.
Oh my God, has it come to that?
Hello, Guilty Feminist. This is Deborah. I want to tell you about an amazing new movie that I loved called Shirley. Some of you may know I've got a bit of a thing for Mad Men. Others of you may know I've got a bit of a thing for The Handmaid's Tale. What one thing binds these two stories? Elizabeth Moss, who was also in one of my favourite shows of all time, West Wing. She is playing a real-life woman, horror writer Shirley Jackson, who in fact wrote 6 novels and over 200 short stories. Now in this film, she's about to complete her masterpiece when her domestic routine is disrupted by the arrival of a pair of newlyweds, Fred and Rose. With her husband increasingly absent because he's off shagging around, Shirley develops a relationship with Rose that blurs boundaries and allows both to challenge the stuffy patriarchal atmosphere of 1950s America. Guilty Feminist, this is one for you. The screenplay is by Sarah Gubbins. It's directed by a powerful new voice in independent filmmaking, Josephine Decker. There's women behind the camera. It's about a real woman. It's starring one of our favourite women, Elizabeth Moss. You just have to see it. It's in cinemas from the 30th of October, where you can go and socially distance, or you can watch it online on Curzon Home Cinema. That's an on-demand platform bringing you the latest films that you can watch safely at home the same day as the cinema release. Get in there. You will not regret it. Let's watch it. I'm sure I'll be talking about it on future episodes and never stop banging on about it. So let's all watch it together and then compare notes. And now back to the podcast.
Please welcome to the stage, Deborah Frances-White! Delightful to see so many of you for financial reasons. It's a long way to come. And you know what? I nearly didn't get my visa in time. This show nearly didn't happen. Yes, I know. That's how I was feeling, because I was like, I could see on Twitter people were flying in from places, and I was in London going, I don't have a visa. And the Boston show got cancelled because I didn't have a visa. I know. Can you imagine how I felt? Because I said, people flew in from Bermuda. I would have had to refund their travel. I know. And some people, when the Boston show got cancelled, got tickets for this show. And can you imagine if Boston got cancelled, then you bought tickets to New York City, and you booked a hotel room, and then some so-called feminist bitch is lying in her bed in London? You would be enraged. That would be enough for you to give up feminism forever. You'd be like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. I no longer believe in equality for anybody. This is nothing about this is fair. I don't believe in justice, social or otherwise. So thank you. Has anyone come from not New York City? Let's give us a cheer. Oh, loads of you. Where have you come from? New Jersey. Okay, well done. It's a schlep, come on. Unless you've come from further than Brooklyn, do not laugh at this New Jersey person. It's a schlep. You did say New Jersey, didn't you? Yes. Yeah. I've not made that up. Anyone else? Yes? Iowa. Okay, Indiana. I don't know which one of those is further away. But I'm going to ask you, what's further away from London? Manchester or Newcastle? Okay, all right, you do know. That is not fair, though, because Americans normally wouldn't. Educated group of New Yorkers. Fine. Whatever. I still don't know if it's Iowa or Indiana. I think Indiana's further away than Iowa. I think Iowa's further away than Indiana. I'm going to go with that. I'm some kind of geographical genius. Anyone else come from anywhere else? Houston? I wanted to go to Texas. That's where Houston is, right? I'm kidding. I wanted to go to Texas because I was like, Texas needs feminism and feminism needs to go to Texas. And they were all like, no, go to the places where they already like feminism because we need to sell tickets. We might as well call this tour Deborah Frances-White Preaches to the Choir. So, wherever the choir is, Deborah's there going, Trump, not a fan. So next time I'm going to insist. I wanted to go to Alabama and they said, you'll be shocked, we do not have that kind of insurance. They were like, no. But I think Houston and Austin would have been fine, right? Yeah. Enough of the choir, but also maybe some room to build a bridge. Absolutely. And also bring thirsty people water. I don't want to assume Houston is where thirsty feminists live. Is that? It is. It is. Okay, fine. Yeah, I suddenly thought, is that insulting? But they're in the front row. They're like, no, we have come to New York for this. Obviously, if we had this kind of comedic feminism in Houston, we would not have flown this far. Fair enough. Thank you. What does your T-shirt say? Is it a feminist T-shirt?
Oh yes, they're all female artists.
Oh, that's lovely. That's very, very cool. I promise to come to Houston now, just on the basis of you. Indeed. Anyone come from anywhere else? Pittsburgh. Thank you. Pittsburgh, thank you for acknowledging Pittsburgh. Finally, feminism acknowledges Pittsburgh. Where else? San Francisco. I'm coming to San Francisco. Sorry?
My cousin had surgery, so I was making the trip anyway.
Oh, okay. So this is
that day too.
Okay, I'm a twofer. Your cousin's having surgery. Who flies a continent because their cousin is having anything? You've got to be close to that cousin.
Very close.
Really close. Okay, all right. Well, that's... What was that?
He's very nice and he has a nice apartment.
Okay, cousin's having surgery. He's in hospital, but he lives in the village in a loft. It's like, I'm so sorry for your surgery. Let me come and visit you. Do you just remind me? Is it one bedroom or two? It's a view of the park, right? Yeah.
I'm on the couch.
You're on the couch.
Okay, he's
Yeah.
home.
Oh.
I'm making him breakfast.
Oh, you're bringing him breakfast. Okay, you're going down to the deli, and yeah, I'm loving it. So I'll see you in San Francisco as well.
Yes, you will.
Excellent.
I'm bringing a convert.
You're bringing a convert. What, not someone from the choir? Wow, yeah. A convert, like a convert to feminism or convert to the Guilty Feminist?
To the nunnery.
To the nunnery. Okay. We should actually just say, has anyone come further than that or just feels they need to declare before we move on? Where was that? Atlanta. I said we should go to Atlanta. Again, I feel we would be well received in Atlanta.
Yes, you
Yeah.
would.
Yes. Thank you. There is one person, that show would be just the two of you, just sitting in the front row going, we don't care about the others. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yes?
Japan.
Japan! We have a winner! What? Really? Japan?
Nepal.
Oh, okay. People are very. It's like a game show now, isn't it? Nepal, and then people just went, oh. Japan's just lost. She was just about to get the golden handshake. She's just lost to Nepal. I know. So you've silver medaled there. That's, listen, you know. Yeah, that's what you always get, or what Japan always gets. But you didn't come from Nepal for this.
No, I'm actually a student at Syracuse University. I didn't go to Nepal just to be here for the winter. So
Okay, so you're here to go to college,
yes, in Syracuse.
and while here, you're attending this show. Japan, can you counter with something better than that? Because Nepal, it turns out, is a local who originally came from Nepal, but to study and not to come to a podcast. What's your story?
Born and raised here, but I'm teaching English in Japan.
And did you come back
For the holidays.
for the holidays?
Family demanded it.
The family demanded. So you're not here for me either. This is just like.
My sister's a diehard fan.
Oh, okay. Your sister's a diehard fan. That's playing round the corner as a sort of. It's a holiday tradition. A diehard fan of this. I get it. Yeah. Excellent. Yep. Well.
New Jersey's here for you.
Excellent. New Jersey has come here. Yeah. Well, yippee-ki-yay, mother feminists. The producers, as is absolutely standard, they didn't know, they just sold this VIP meet and greet afterwards where people could come down, and someone had, on the plane that I was on, had come up to me on the plane and went, excuse me, I just want to say I love your podcast, I'm sorry to interrupt you on the plane. And she said, I'm going to meet you again tomorrow night because I've paid for the meet and greet. And I was like, well, you've really wasted your money. Either that or this will be $50. Her name's Caroline, and she said she was coming to both shows. Caroline, are you in tonight? Yay! And your boyfriend's here the second night, because she came last night. So you've come to a feminist podcast 2 nights in a row. My goodness, sir. What a keeper you are. Marry this one. Seriously. I feel terrible because when men come to the show, I give them so many extra brownie points. I'm just like, what? You've come to a feminist show? And does anyone else do that? Does anyone else really admire men who engage with feminism? It's just another example of how little men have to do to get credit. They have to do fucking nothing. No woman here is getting praise for listening to a podcast. It's like when a man says, and I listen to the Guilty Feminist, and by the way, if you're here on a second date and the man has brought you, you're being duped. It happens all the time. All the time. A big market for this audience is men on second dates trying to get laid before the third date. Just like, I brought you to feminism and it's entertaining. Can we have sex now, please? I've proven myself as an authentically great man. Anyone here on a date that the man has bought the tickets? Just cheer. I'm telling you. No, he might be lovely. He absolutely might be. He may really love this podcast and not be trying to sleep with you. That could have happened too. Or both. Thank you. He may love the podcast and be trying to sleep with you before time. So, not before time. There is no before time. Anytime you want to sleep with anybody, as long as it's consensual, there is no judgment from me. It sounded a tad slut-shaming. I just realised what I said. I was like, they're not going to go for that. Quick, back out. Which I realise sounds a lot like an innuendo. Which also sounds slut-shaming. Quick, back out.
Hello, Guilty Feminist. This is Deborah. As you probably know, I'm sometimes asked to go to conferences and speak to people in business about things like diversity and inclusion, creativity, and how you can better include yourself and include others. During lockdown, I've been delivering these talks from home, and now for the first time, I'm making some of these ideas available to everyone. I'll be doing 3 live Skill Booster webinars over Zoom every Thursday at 2 p.m. from the 12th to the 27th of November. And you can get your tickets now. We've tried to make these as affordable as we can. If you've got a good job, or you can get your company to pay for them, they're 60 quid each, or all 3 for 150. If you're out of work, or you're a student or an NHS worker, we have a small number available for just £10 each, or £25 for all 3. And if you support us on Patreon, you can get a special exclusive discount code there. For more information and to book, see the links in the show notes or on our website, guiltyfeminist.com. And speaking of Patreon, if you're supporting us, you get access to special hangout events where you get to spend some quality time with me, ask me questions and get some exclusive scoops. For November, we've got something even better. I'll be spending an evening with Grace Petrie, so you can ask her questions about her life. I'll do a Q&A with her. She'll sing songs, covers, all sorts. And that will be on Thursday, the 12th of November. You'll even be able to see her singing her new live lockdown hit. But you have to be a Patreon supporter to get access to it. So sign up if that sounds like something you would like to do. Even more excitingly, we have some real honest-to-goodness live recordings coming up. We'll be back at King's Place on Thursday the 5th of November, and Monday the 7th of December will be our 5th anniversary show, and we've got some very special things coming up for you there. It will be 2 days shy of 5 years since we recorded the very first Guilty Feminist ever. We will be recording these new episodes in front of a socially distanced, masked audience. Or there's the option of staying at home and watching the live stream, which will still include all the mistakes, unfortunate turns of phrase and technical problems we cut out of the podcast. To book tickets, go to kingsplace.co.uk or check the links in the show notes or on our website. Our Be Well workshops are still running with amazing teachers running workshops on yoga, mindfulness and movement. Go to guiltyfeminist.com/be-well to book your place now. All the money goes to the teachers and the administrator. And lastly, our merch store is still open for business with all the Guilty Feminist mugs, t-shirts, notebooks and tote bags you could want. They all make excellent Christmas presents. And so does my book, The Guilty Feminist, available wherever books are sold. Thanks to everyone who's kept us going this year by supporting the podcast. Whether it's being a Patreon supporter, buying our merch, coming to our live shows, or just being a listener and telling other people about the show. If you've rated, reviewed and subscribed, look, honestly, we couldn't keep doing it without you. So thank you very much indeed. And now back to the podcast.
Today is the co-founder and CEO of Hip Sobriety, a comprehensive digital platform for the treatment and support of alcohol abusers, as well as feminist sobriety site Tempest. She lives in New York. Please welcome Holly Whitaker! Hey, girl. Come sit down and tell us, what is the feminist take on sobriety?
Well, I would say that I was not a feminist before I started this, and when I got sober, I think that my awareness around my relationship with alcohol and like this self-oppression, having awareness around that, and then also just When I stopped drinking, I had this idea that you were supposed to drink, that it was supposed to work. And so we're talking about intention, and we're talking about things like we just go along with. We just drink because that's what our parents do, and that's what we do when we get to a certain age. And I just thought the only people that didn't drink were people that couldn't drink, or Mormons, or people that did it for like specific religious reasons. Like, I didn't have any sober friends. I didn't have anybody that I knew that just didn't drink because they didn't want to. And so I think that when the way I got sober was by realizing I had a choice. And I also had a terrible relationship with it. But the thing that moved the needle for me was realizing I don't have to do this shit anymore. I don't have to actually feel this way. I don't have to go along with something that is actually murdering me and making me hate my life and myself. And so having that awareness to actually have a different, like to be able to see how something was showing up in my life, and also not have to be an alcoholic and not have to like follow this, like there's two paths, you know, you either drink and you make it work somehow, or you can't, and you have to go to meetings and go through rehab and all this other shit. And so I think the first piece of that was saying, oh, I don't have to go either way. I can actually forge my own way in this, and I can actually change my relationship with alcohol. And then that pushed me into the recovery infrastructure. Like, it pushed me into a system where I started to be gaslit for my decision on how I was recovering, told things like I was in denial if I didn't try it this way, or like had family members tell me like I was that I was gonna that I was fucked up and would always be like, just people started to opine on my life once I stopped like drinking alcohol, and also once I said like it had created a problem for me. And so I think like that kind of thing started to drive awareness around systems, right? Like the systems that we have in place to help people recover, the labels that we take on when we do, the systems in place that perpetuate drinking, and like alcohol is everywhere. It's like, it's soaked in like our culture. Everything we do, we pair with alcohol, and we don't question it. We don't question how it shows up in our lives. We don't question that like rosé all day is like actually taking drugs all day, and like we're bragging about that. And so it's just, I think that, I don't even remember what the question was that you asked me, but
No, well, just what I found really interesting is you sort of have a feminist angle on our intentional or unintentional relationship with alcohol, and you were talking about how alcohol is marketed to women in a capitalist society.
well, yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, it's, you know, cigarettes like were called torches of freedom. They were sold to us actually as part of like our liberation movement. Like, you know, women that are against the patriarchy also smoke cigarettes, and so we tied up that imagery with like this like.
Really, that's how it was sold?
Yeah, it was a PR campaign. Like
What?
that was an early
Torches
PR
of
campaign.
freedom?
Torches of Freedom.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a thing that was, Lucky Strike basically put cigarettes in the hands of women and got it in the New York Times.
There was an episode of Mad Men. You should ask John Hamm.
Yeah, John Hamm. He can tell you all about
There
it.
an episode of Mad Men. There was one where they were marketing cigarettes specifically to women, but they didn't really go into it too much.
But it's not like, that's marketing. This was far more PR stunt. This was like an influencer campaign before there was Instagram. This was like actually working with feminists, putting cigarettes in their hands, taking pictures and putting it in the newspaper, and then saying,
What?
yeah, like they were trying to get more women smokers, and so that's what they did.
What's interesting to me is when you touched on family members trying to steer you the way that they think you should go. And I feel, especially with women, when something goes wrong with us, everyone puts the shade.
Yes.
Yeah, this, you know, you're supposed to be pretty and dainty and, you know, speak when spoken to. And, you know, ooh, if something's wrong, then why do you have to talk about it?
That's right.
And it's, you know, in my family, the Caribbean side at least, it, you know, the men could never do any wrong.
That's right.
But God forbid, if you have a problem and you're a woman, it's like,
It's your fault. You did something.
it's your fault, you did something wrong. So
You
I
got to
think-
wear that burden quietly, yeah. And I think it's also for women, there's also other pieces of this, which is you lose your agency in the healthcare system no matter what you have. And the healthcare system was never designed around you, it was designed around men. And so you take that to the nth degree when you have addiction thrown in, because you've lost even more reason to be believed or to have a voice. What we created and what we do is we come at it assuming people do not have male privilege. discovering a relationship or their relationship with alcohol and figuring out if they want to change it. We talked about this too. I've written a book and I also run a company, and in anything that I have ever done, it has always been about giving people information so they can make choices and supporting them in their choices and like in their paths to uncovering things in the way in which they feel they need to do it. And I think like that is the feminist nature of it, or even like just like the feminine nature of it, which is the allowing versus telling versus like forcing, allowing people to come to their own conclusions in their own way.
So it's really all about intention with alcohol. So you could come to this website and look at your book, and you could sort of just start to re-examine and look at your relationship with alcohol and see if it's where you want it to be or whether you want to shift it, but it's not an all or nothing view.
No, I mean, it's just like the way I think about this is the way that most people think about cigarettes. Like society's caught up with like how toxic and addictive cigarettes are, and we haven't with alcohol. It's just a thing. And so the way I always talk about this is I'm not like ever promoting somebody to like work really hard to keep alcohol in their life. And at the same time, I'm also not, I don't know anybody's path or what's right for them or what they should do. And so everything we do is kind of in that vein of being very honest about what it is, giving people tools, but at the same time also giving them the freedom to make up their own mind and to find their own path. And also to do that in a way that feels supportive and not shaming, right? Like if it takes, you know, we work with people that have severe addiction, and people like some of those people have been trying for a decade or 2 decades to quit drinking with other things, or you know, like it's just so shameful to go through something like that. It is so shameful to like be told you're failing at recovery or you're failing at changing your relationship with alcohol. And so everything we do has this intention for, you know, whether you're somebody that's drinking, you know, like 2 glasses a night and that feels awful, or you're drinking a few bottles a night, you know, and you're dying, like is giving people the agency, like telling them that they get to make, you know, their way through this and that there's no shame in how they do it, you know?
Yeah, because they are enough.
Yeah.
My whole life, I always know when bikini season is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
It's bikini season, get bathing suit ready. If I would have heard you could be president, you could be president, you could be president, as much as I heard you need to be in a bikini.
That's right.
Who the fuck knows what most of the young women in this country would be right now?
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
We have to lift each other up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know. We get sold this totally like false picture of what we're supposed to be, where we're supposed to put our attention. And like that is also a bit of our work too, which is we work really hard at understanding why, you know, women specifically or anybody on the margins comes into this feeling less. Anybody living in this, like the society is sick. They are not sick. They are adjusting to a sick society and all of these things that they come in with,
And
all
the
the
women,
deprogramming.
we're always blamed. How much did you have to drink? What were you wearing?
That's right.
Why were you out this time?
That's right.
It's always our fault.
Yeah.
So tell us where we can get your book.
I think everywhere.
Everywhere. What is it called?
It's called Quit Like a Woman.
Quit Like a Woman.
Yes. And the subtitle, I always forget the subtitle, but I believe it is The Radical Choice to Not Drink in a Culture Obsessed with Alcohol. And I think I got it.
A radical choice not to drink in a culture obsessed with alcohol.
Yeah, something like that.
Amazing. Michelle, do you have anything to plug?
Oh, goodness.
Do you have a Twitter feed that we can follow?
I do. I have a Twitter feed at Michelle Buteau. Michelle with 2 L's, Buteau.
You have an hour-long Netflix special coming up.
I do. I have a Netflix. Yeah, it's stuff. First Wives Club, we're going to be doing a season 2. Thank you, 3 people. That is more than I thought.
So,
Can you smell me?
no. Do you want me to?
Maybe.
I have a book out, it's called The Guilty Feminist. It just got released in America the other day. Please buy it, ideally from a store that pays their tax. And maybe buy it for somebody. Buy it like ham. Ham it up. Hold your ass, motherfucker. What does it stand for? Hard as a motherfucker. Hard as a motherfucker. Ham. I still don't know how to use it.
No, you did
Go
it.
ham.
Yeah, you did it.
I'm going to leave here and go ham by ordering room service. And I think it is actually a really useful thing to do. What's my intention for today? What do I want? What am I trying to get? What do I really want to do? What does my body feel? Does it really want this? Or is it something that it's like, oh, it's wine o'clock? And I think the more we can get intentional, the more that we can also club together to resist the current regimes that are coming up in America, in Europe, in Britain, and get organised and get together. So this is not about, doing or not doing anything. It's about deciding what we're going to do and then collectively doing it and taking power and strength from each other. So thank you so much for coming out and being part of our Guilty Feminist tribe. You have been listening to the Guilty Feminist with me, Deborah Frances-White, guest co-host Michelle Buteau. Our very special guest, recording engineer was Gramercy. Music was by Mark Hodge. Producer was Curzon Home Cinema. Thank you to Danielle Moore, Mike Curie, and everyone at Harrison Davis. What is all of you for listening? For more information about this and other episodes, visit guiltyfeminist.com. Go imagining what they're going to think of that joke, and you get it in your head, and then, tennis is the next point, I don't want to be the Tim Henman of comedy. It's a joke for some tennis fans who understand that Tim Henman was our big hope for Wimbledon for many years.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't famous overseas because he never won anything. Yeah. But to us, he was like an almost winner. He won the semi-finals once,
He's the Lamb's Bass.
Right. You are so good at examples.
Thank you so much.
And don't forget Shirley, starring Elizabeth Moss, the bewitching biopic about the horror writer Shirley Jackson, which is available to watch in cinemas or online from Curzon Home Cinema from the 30th of October. Thanks to everyone who is supporting us on Patreon at the Smash the Patriarchy level or above, John Corcoy and Sarah Boom.